Okay. So, mhm. All right, let's see if we get this thing. Share. Should be this one. All the things. Watching already. I'm just setting things up. It doesn't start for another 6 minutes. So, yeah, I know. All right, hello. We are going to start admitting people. We've already got 6 people in our waiting room. So. All right, hello. We are going to start
Victoria.
6 people in our waiting room. So, oh, is that my thing? Or is that someone else's? Um, where did I stream this? Okay, this is.
Yeah. So there's no.
Mute that thing. All right. That's weird. No, that wasn't. Weird. Okay. Very strange. Hi. Trying to get all of my ducks in a row rather than having, squirrels at a rave. Okay. Howdy. Oh, wow. I think this is probably the most people we have had join us at the beginning of a Zoom in like forever. So thank you guys for joining. Oh my gosh. This is incredible. So for those who don't know me, my name is Aline Harding. I'm the city producer for the Austin 48 Hour Film Project and the Dallas 48 Hour Film Project and our current Austin Politics and Comedy project. So Victoria, I love that. I don't know what you just did, but that's so cool. Victoria is one of our longtime participants.
Hi, guys.
You want to introduce yourself and talk about your team?
Okay, let me see if I can put my camera on. Okay. I don't usually like to show my face on these recorded for public things. And yet I'm an actress and have no problem being on a 40-foot tall screen during the project. So yes, hi, I'm Victoria. I've been doing the 48 for a while. Missed a few of them recently, but my team is Team El Guapo, the fabulous, and maybe Frank will be on later. I don't know. But we are all geared up, and who knows? We'll probably pull in random people on the day of. Never can tell with teams. I ended up being on, I'll tell the story. I ended up being on 2 teams one year. I went to an in-person mixer in the before times and met with a couple of people, exchanged my number with one of the directors. And so I was on my team, El Guapo, lovely team. And we had the script. I had a part. My part was not going to be filmed until like that evening. She's like, oh, okay, cool. And then I get a call from the director that I had met the day before at the mixer and said, would you like to be in ours? And I said, yeah, sure, fine. But I have to be back in Austin at X time because I'm in my other team. And they said, no worry, we're going to come pick you up because I didn't have a car. Well, we are on our way to the location now. We will pick you up and make sure you get home. So they picked me up. I grabbed some things for, my character. I was going to have just a little bit part. It was fine. I didn't care. It was fun. On the way to the location, the director gets another phone call. Her lead actor. Now, this is a script that has 2 characters. I was the driver. She gets a call from the other actor. This happens. The other actor has to bow out. The director turns to me as I'm trying to memorize my lines for my character that I'm going to be. She turns to me and she said, "Do you want to be the lead?" And I went, "Hell yeah." I'm not going to say no to that. And and they managed to find somebody else to be this little other part. And so I got to have like a fabulous time running for growth and being like completely stupid. And we got the audience award for our film. It was so fun. And my team I was on time for my show for my filming for my scene with my other team, El Guapo, and that film was great and it was lovely, and that happens sometimes. Doesn't happen often. Logistics are a big deal. But it was awesome. It was fun. I highly recommend enjoying yourself no matter what happens. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
Oh.
Love it.
Yeah, enjoying yourself is one of the rules. You're not allowed to not enjoy
Love
yourself. And I've told people multiple times, don't be in it to win it, because that's not what it's about. So I'm multitasking while we're doing that.
So many soldiers to find this place.
Yeah, I don't. Okay, that can wait. Producer life. So, okay, we're gonna go down the line on, hopefully, this will not rearrange. If I miss somebody, raise your hand and tell me I missed you. I give you permission to nag. So we're gonna start with, the names at the top of here. Henry Thompson Jr. You wanna introduce yourself?
Really.
Are you a filmmaker, an actor, a comedian, a politician?
Oh. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, sorry about that. I am a videographer, drone operator.
Okay. Very cool. Do you have a team?
No, I do not. I think I just got called recently into this meeting by someone else. I think he has a team, so I think I might be part of his team.
Okay, and what's his name?
Atif.
Okay. Do I have him on my list? I don't. So maybe he's going to join. Maybe he's going to register one. That would be great.
Yeah, cause actually I'm in California,
Oh wow.
and I'm actually leaving another meeting right now, production meeting right now, heading home.
I understand. Okay. Well, if you need to drop out and come back in, that's perfectly fine. Tell you what, I'm gonna put my phone number in the chat right here now. So if anybody needs to contact me and say, hey, I can't get in, or what have you, you can text me at this number. So change my name up here. Why do you think I'm muted? I'm not muted. Anyway, so the next one on our list is Tat Boyd.
How do I? Hello.
So tell us about yourself. Do you have a team? Are you looking for a team?
I'm looking for a team. I'm very new to this, and I'm just trying to get my foot in the door, not be a politician, try to be an actor, try to be a commercial or a model or extra or whatever, any small part to start off. I'm just trying to, get myself out there.
Gotcha. Do you have any like and it's okay if you don't. Do you have any kind of reel or resume or social media tags you want to share with us?
I have Facebook under Cat Boyd. I'm gonna go ahead, and it seems like a lot of people have multiple social medias, but I only have that one. So I'm looking into getting to like Instagram. Gonna
Yeah.
set myself up this week for that, because it seems like a lot of people are on Instagram a lot.
Yeah, I'm learning how to use Instagram. It's not my favorite, but I'm learning.
Right. Yeah, it's just like, I guess I better do it, because a lot of people have it, and it could be that one person that could actually, kind of get me a little break to, step in for a few minutes somewhere. So that's basically yes and no. I did a commercial back in the day. It was just at where I worked at. We did a commercial, and then I've done some theater back in the day. So it's not really an active resume. That's why I want to go ahead and just trying to get my, foot in the door.
Yeah. That's good. Hey, you got to start somewhere, and the
Yes.
48 is a great place to do it. You learn a lot on a 48-hour film project. And that's the other thing that we recommend is, again, don't be in it to win it. Do it for
Right.
fun. Challenge yourself, do it to find out what you and the people you're working with are capable of.
Yes.
I know professionals who are like, okay, if you want to be on my crew, you got to do a 48 with me so I can find out what you
Right.
can do under pressure and whether you can put up with me when I'm under pressure.
Right, right. Yes, ma'am. So I'm just, I love to just get that input and get all the knowledge that I can from seasoned people that have been through it.
Okay, well, feel free to add any of your contact info in the chat. So if
Okay.
someone wants to get in touch with you, they can.
Yes, ma'am.
If you have any kind of a headshot somewhere on
Yeah.
social, share that link. It doesn't have to be professional. It can be a selfie these days.
Right.
iPhones work
Okay.
well.
Okay.
So yeah, that way if somebody reaches out and says, hey, I want to get in touch with Cat Boyd, then I have the information to share with them.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Very welcome. Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Damon Brown, you're next. Please
Hi
introduce yourself.
there. I'm Damon Brown, Ravenwood Productions, Little Rock, Arkansas. I'm not a member of any team. The last meeting I said that I would be available for remote work if anybody needs any voiceover, illustration, or side editing. And I'll
Nice.
put my Instagram and Facebook in the chat here in a second.
Okay, very cool. Thank you for joining us.
Mhm.
Yeah, so far, well, let me double check, because last I checked, we still only had 6 teams, which is really a low number for us. Normally we have many, many more than that. But I don't know, I'm not sure if it's the comedy aspect or the political aspect that has got people put off by it, but I would think that would be one of the coolest challenges available. But then I'm weird, so that's why I live in Austin. Let me check and see if we've had any new signups, because sometimes they come in like all at once just before kickoff. In fact, we had like 3 earlier this year. No, we still only have 6. Okay, this is disappointing, but hopefully we still got a couple of days. Hopefully we'll get a few more teams going. And if anybody here would like to try to build a team of their own with people on the call, that's encouraged too. So, okay, next, this has gotten a little out of order now, but that's okay. Caleb, is it mounting?
Oh, yes, ma'am, you got it right.
Excellent. Tell us about yourself.
Of course. Well, I'm Caleb. I'm not part of a team, but I am part of a duo. My friend Adrian and I are looking to join this session of the 48-Hour Film Festival. We were part of it earlier this year in Dallas. So I mean, if we can join like-minded people, that'd be the best case scenario for us.
Very cool. Yeah, y'all can do this in Dallas as long as you have someone at the kickoff, and that someone can actually be a part of another team.
Yeah, we assumed that we assumed that, but even then going to Austin and experiencing it in person there would also be pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, good luck. Hopefully y'all can make that work somehow.
We do too.
Victoria, you have your hand up?
Yeah, I just want to say that teams can be really fluid and flexible, and I know our team sometimes isn't set until the day of, and I don't know, set is actual the word, because as you heard from my story, people can unexpectedly drop out for any number of reasons, and it's great to have, if directors and other people have access to each other in case it's like, hey, I need somebody last minute, even if it's for a background scene or to hold lights, or like don't need any experience. We can always use people on our team, and my director said he's going to be logging in at some point shortly. So yay. There he is. Yay, Frank. Yeah.
Hey, everybody.
Awesome.
All right. All right. I'm going to go so everybody else can introduce themselves.
Okay.
Okay. Frank, we'll get around to you very shortly. Next on our list is Chaz Kennedy.
So can you hear me okay?
Yes.
So I'm Chaz, I'm an actor. Ironically, I'm also a political science major from Texas Tech. So I worked in politics for campaigns, running political organizations like Texas Tech and UNT. But I'm an actor mainly, martial artist. I'm looking for a team.
Very cool.
Nice.
Again, go ahead and share your contact info in the chat. So, people know how to get in touch with you, or if someone asks about you later on, I can get them in touch. So in case y'all didn't know, we are streaming on YouTube, and I've shared it to all of our platforms, etc. So hopefully we've got some folks watching who maybe can't participate in the Zoom, but they're welcome to reach out to me later on and say, hey, I want to talk to that person. Okay, Justine, you're next.
Hi, I'm Justine. I've done a few different 48-hour film festivals when I was living back in Michigan, but it's been a little bit. I haven't done one since pre-pandemic, and I moved to Austin a couple years ago. So, looking to join a team. I've done things. So I've acted in different 48s. I've also been a script supervisor. I've helped with writing. So I'm really open to doing anything. Yeah.
Excellent. Thank you for joining us.
Mhm.
Let's see. Who is next? Okay, I apologize if I mispronounce your name. Is it Myra? Myra?
Yeah, hi, Lane. I just saw you last week at the San Antonio
Yes.
screening. You came with my team, Matt Martinez.
Yes.
So he's not doing this Austin one.
Mhm.
So I'm looking for a team. I've become a junkie.
It gets addictive, doesn't it, Frank?
So I'm just looking for somebody who can maybe give me a role somewhere. So I'm excited. So I saw you coming on today, and I was like, hey, I'll say hello to Elaine, and then I'll see who's around.
Excellent. Well, thank you for being here. Next in line is Norma Jean. Oh, she may still be in another meeting. So, Norma Jean, if you want to come back to us later, we'll let me know when you're on. I will send you a private message just in case. Okay, so Frank, it's your turn. Tell us everything about yourself.
Got to figure out the mute button. Let's start there.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm Frank Salinas. I've done a lot of these, as Aileen has kind of updated me recently. Like lots and lots of these, and like to continue doing so. I'm team captain of Team El Guapo. We've been shooting these for years. Victoria was part of my first team. It was just the three of us, me, Victoria, and a friend of ours who's off in Vegas now. We shot a fun little film, and it was like, yeah, we're going to keep doing this. We're pretty open to people joining up and filling roles. I will find a place for you. If there's something that needs doing, if we're talking holding a light or turn you into a sound person, I will find a role. Was it acting either before the camera, behind the camera? Both sometimes. Yeah, I've worked with teams as small as 3 people and as big as about 23. We shot a lot of these things over the past couple of years. I missed this last one due to an injury, so I don't want to miss this one. But yeah, if folks are looking for a team, we're more than welcoming, and I feed pretty well. was it starting off with the Friday night meet and greet and brainstorming session that we kick off over at Conan's, and then we just kind of go from there. It's we try to have a good time. But yeah, if anybody's interested, looking for a place to land, that can certainly be us. Like I said, I'll find a place for you.
And I worked with Frank on the CC7D, which is completely separate from the 48 this summer, and that was fascinating to see. It had been, man, well, the only time I had participated in the 48 before I became city producer was in Houston. My children were very, very young. I basically helped out at the brainstorming session and then took my babies home to sleep. So I never got to see really what it was like to be on set for one of these. So CC7D gave me that opportunity.
Hey, Caleb.
That was a lot of fun.
Yeah, we had a good time. Was it my cousins had a good time?
Oh,
We shot this down in Corpus, where I'm from originally, and I've got a lot of family down there. And I'd been telling them about the 48s for years. So being able to go down there, shoot with them, and have them participate and help and be in the I'm still getting just like conversations whenever I talk to them, remembering about how much fun they had. They're not gonna be able to roll up this weekend because of tournaments and sports that the kids are in, but they're just itchy to do this sort of thing again. But yeah, Alien and Carol had a great time. Lisa had they were a blast to work with. So much fun. Love working with you guys. So yeah, I'm looking forward to doing some more shooting and running and getting this weekend.
There you go. And next year, if it happens that you're in Europe while CC7D is going on, Kara and I have already discussed it. We're going to do it, and your family is welcome to join us. So
I think they'd love that.
yeah. Okay. So does anybody have any questions about the upcoming project? Okay. We already have 4 judges lined up. I won't tell you their names, but one is a former participant. He hasn't participated this year. His work schedule's too heavy, but he did let me know that he was interested in being a judge, and there's no one who can judge a 48 like someone who's done 48s. So I like having that aspect on. And then we have a comedian. He lives in LA right now. He's fixing to tour Europe, but he used to live here in Austin. We worked together at the Big Daddy G show. So I reached out to him and asked if he would be interested in judging, and he's like, oh yeah. So then let's see who else. So one of our judges is not only active in the independent film scene, but also in a local political party. And so, we get the politics side of that. And I'd have to look up, there's a couple more that I need to reach out to, just because I like to have extra backups. We only need 3, but I like to have more. You never know when life is going to throw you a curveball, and several of them are going to have to back out. So I like to have lots of backups. And we just had somebody join, JJ.
Hey, my video's off because I'm eating dinner at the same time. So I don't want you guys seeing the munching and the crunching, but it's nice to be here.
Well, thanks for being here. Tell us about your experience. And I mean, I'm pretty sure I know which JJ I'm talking to, but just in case, tell us what you do, and are you looking to be on a team this year or this weekend?
That's hilarious. Which JJ I'm talking to. I think my wife has similar symptoms sometimes. She's like, which JJ am I talking to today? I am a Gemini, so maybe that explains everything. All right, so my name is JJ Martinez. I am the founder and current producer of Dos Tacos Films. I just participated in the 48-hour film festival last go round. We had California Land Shark. I am currently involved in a podcast project that's partially funded by the city of Austin called Dolores and Howard Kick the Bucket. And so we are putting that on Monday and Tuesday. We're doing a live stage reading at a retirement community. so we can get some feedback for the scripts. It's 8 episodes and hopefully a feature film afterwards. So we'll see how we go from there. I am looking to participate as an actor. If anybody needs a comedic actor who can do accents, who can speak Spanish, I can play old, I can play newscaster. I mean, I've done it all. That'd be cool. I'll be happy to join. I'm not really looking at crewing, directing, or writing, although I'll collaborative write if anybody wants me to, and I'll assist crew to back up like somebody in front of camera who's normally behind camera, that kind of thing. But yeah, and just let me know what you need, and if anybody needs a shorter team.
Excellent. Thank you. I can also attest that JJ resembles a slightly older Lin-Manuel Miranda. I swear, JJ, every time you post a picture, I'm like, is that? No, that's not him.
You are way too kind or need some glasses, but thank you.
Oh, okay. Victoria, you had your hand up again, or did I not put that down before?
No. That is me. Okay, I'm going to do two things. I am going to do a shameless plug for my team, and I'm going to encourage everybody on this call to text directly, because you can do a private message, do a text directly to our fabulous director, Frank Salinas, because that way, you can actually save the chat. I don't know if people know this, but you can save the chat by on the chat. There's a up at the I don't know if you have a Mac. There's three little dots on the top of the chat window. When you have the chat window open, it says save chat, and you can save the chat. But contact
say more, and then you click more, and it gives you
more. Yeah, depending on if you're Mac or PC. So I'm a Mac. Anyway, so that's my shameless plug. Frank, you have like a wealth of people here. We already have an awesome team. It can be even more awesome. So there's that. Shameless plug from my team. Second thing, Eileen,
yes.
if I'm going to recommend a judge,
Okay.
of course, I don't know, but if you haven't already talked to Glenn Maxey, please do.
I don't think I know Glenn Maxey.
Oh, Glenn Maxey is I think he's technically.
I've got him on my contact list if you need him.
Yes,
there you
please.
go. Yes, he's a local politician. He's awesome. He's a hoot. So.
All right. Looks like we have several mutual friends, and we both went to Sam Houston State University. So, yeah, I should definitely hit him up. I would love to have him on as a judge. And there's one other judge that I need to reach out to. That is so HQ recently allowed us to get a perma judge, one judge that we can tap for every single project, and that was something that was discouraged before, but so I have a permanent judge who has agreed to it if he's available. So I will have to check and see if he's available over the next few weeks. But yeah, I mean, love to have as many backups as possible. So okay, let's see. So what are y'all familiar with the genres so far? I can go over them if I can find the right.
Yes, please go over them again.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I've been posting videos. I managed, oh my gosh, I was up until 9 o'clock this morning because we had our new refrigerator being delivered at like 7:30, and I'm like, I'm not going to bed. I'm just gonna stay up and I'm gonna work. And so I cranked out several videos going over the various genres. So okay, we have 7 each. Normally we have 15 each, but the special genre projects are different. So under politics, we have spy, newcomer, scandal, party. That could be political party, or that could be, like fundraiser party, like, you're throwing a party for politics. And then we have crime, whistleblower, and conspiracy. And then on the comedy side, we have just comedy. We have dark comedy, mockumentary, romantic comedy, slapstick, musical comedy, and fish out of water. So Karen and I have had some fun doing research on those, and I will share my link for I created an IMDb link somewhere. Where the heck did I put that? I'm one of those people. I have entirely too many tabs and too many tabs in too many windows. So it's yeah, it's a problem. I'm working on it. Yeah, I am. Maybe. So we've got, wow, we came up with like 67 political comedies. So here. Okay, feel free to explore that list. Some of them are a little closer to the mark than others, but the genre is something that we allow a little more creative license with. Honestly, so the character and the prop you can get creative with as well. You don't have to get just absolutely on the nose with. The line of dialogue, however, that is set in stone. That is the gold standard. That is absolutely verbatim, to the point that if it has contractions, they will approve or disapprove of them, which gets to be kind of fun whenever they send me something that Texans would say different. So a few years ago, we had Where Did You Put It? And I had to call them after the filmmaking and go, y'all know this is Texas, right? Nobody here says Where Did You? We all say Where'd Ya? And so they allowed that. And then what was the one recently that had a contraction? Oh, hi, Norma Jean is in the house. Okay, we will get back to that subject in a minute. Norma Jean, please introduce yourself. You're muted. Can you unmute? You're muted.
Am I not muted?
There you go.
Well, I apologize for my lateness, everyone. I'm doing my my work on the SAG-AFTRA board. I'm a board member here in Austin, and doing it for all of you who are SAG members. So I apologize. Tonight was our meeting.
I'm not a SAG member, but I still appreciate that.
Well, okay. Well, you should join. Okay. Anyway. My name is Norma Jean. I am living currently in South Austin. I've been acting since I was 18, and, you know, like everybody else, took some time off, had some kids, you know, got back into it, and kind of considered an over-the-top character actress, if you will. I have worked in just about every genre, except horror, which I really, really want to get into big time. I'm trying to whittle my way into that. Some of you may recognize me or have any idea that I was just in Scorsese's Killers of the Flower Moon. I played Vera in that film, who is the head housekeeper for Lily Gladstone and Leonardo DiCaprio. And proud to say I got picked up by a team this year. I've never been in the 48. This is my first time, and I'm so freaking excited about it. We're filming on Saturday. I can't wait. I'm losing sleep over it. But I'm so glad to be here and meet all of you, and I can't wait to get to know everybody that's here. So thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Thank you for being here.
Yes, ma'am.
So I'm looking to see if I can remember which one was. I can't find. It may have been this in Dallas earlier this year. It was Where Are We Going to Find Those? And I think I got them to approve where are we going to find those? Anyway.
It's Texas. We mess with the language all the time.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Apparently so do the Dutch. They've challenged me for the weirdest contractions, and they won.
Nice.
Yeah. Very, very impressive, that's for sure. Okay, Mario Charles has entered. Mario, you want to introduce yourself? I can hear you.
Am I on?
Yeah, yes, we can hear you.
Okay.
Can't see you,
Well,
but we can hear you.
yes, Mario Charles. I'm a actor, filmmaker, comedian, whatever. Wear all types of hats.
Very cool. Well, thank you for joining us. So, so we've got one team lead on the call. So I'm going to say something to any potential team leads who are watching. We've got a bunch of people who want to be on teams, not just here, but we've got people who've auditioned. We've got people on Instagram. I have been Insta-bombing every comedian, every comedy show, every comedy club I can find. Oh yeah, thanks to one of our judges who has been instrumental in kind of organizing the local creative community. No, it's not Joe Rogan. If someone could get me Joe Rogan, I would be happy to make him a judge. Love him or hate him, the man has made Austin the new comedy mecca of the United States. From the people I know who have met him, they say he's actually a really nice guy. It's just his comedy persona is an equal opportunity a-hole. So I get that, and I can kind of respect that. Sometimes I don't like his jokes, but I can respect the fact that he is very not politically correct. Once upon a time, I would have appreciated that a lot more. But and sometimes I do think we go a little far on trying not to offend people. It's one of those there's some gray areas, there's some fine lines, on one hand, you don't want to destroy people. On the other hand, like there's a comedian that's become popular lately. I think his name is Matt Rife. He constantly tells jokes about handicapped people, but he's including the handicapped people in his audience in the joke. He will identify one of them and he'll start asking them questions, and he will make jokes on their behalf like crazy. And they're laughing their asses off because they finally get to be a part of the fun. Nobody's worried about insulting them or offending them because they get to be in the joke. And because of that, apparently he has become very popular in the handicap community. So they just flock to his shows like crazy because he treats them like everyone else, and they love it. So, I really respect that. I love that he's done that. Having grown up with a handicapped brother, it's amazing. It's very important for handicapped people to be seen and not ignored. And there's an awful lot of ignoring them that happens in society. So I love that guy. Anyway, yeah, we're in a transitional period with comedy, I think, and trying to find the fine line between inclusive and offensive can be challenging. But I don't think that's something to shy away from. I think it's important to try to nail that on the head if you possibly can. So anyway, do any of y'all have a favorite potential genre pairing from the ones that I mentioned?
Not yet.
Not
I
yet?
generally kind of like the whole roll of the dice and see what happens thing that
Yeah.
it's going to roll into because keeps us on our toes.
This is true. This is true. Do any of y'all have a favorite political comedy that's been created that you want to share?
Can you say that again? What's the what?
Do you have a favorite political comedy?
Oh,
Like what's your favorite political comedy?
There's a movie Campaign. Will Ferrell's in it. That's a pretty good one.
That one's on my list. I have not seen that one yet. It's amazing how few of these I've seen. But I'm going to be watching more of them because it really is a fascinating genre.
It's a very good film. It's a very good film. You should watch it when you get the chance.
Definitely.
I like Ron Burgundy. Would that be considered that?
the fun one.
Possibly. Let me see. That's about the
Anchor.
the anchor, yeah.
And
Well, and see, politics is it's everywhere. It's
that's
not
like
just
office place politics, you know?
yeah, yeah, that would definitely count then.
Yeah, okay.
Absolutely. Yeah, office politics, school politics, family politics. I mean,
The Office,
about
The
it.
Office, the show on TV.
Yes. So a couple of my favorites, and they're both Texas made, are Idiocracy and Office Space, which is office politics. So,
Oh
you know,
man.
I loved Spin City when it was on. It was a I don't know if you remember that with Michael J. Fox. It was a series about a New York City manager
yes.
and the mayor's office and that kind of stuff. And as an ex-chief of staff, I identified with the whole premise.
I'll bet. I'll bet. There was another one I was thinking. Oh, okay. So speaking of family politics, and I didn't think to add this to my list until just now. There was a film that came out several years ago, and it was actually a remake of a Japanese film. And I was already a fan of the Japanese film. It was called Eat, Drink, Man, Woman. And then when the American remake came out, I just hollered. It was so perfect. It was called Tortilla Soup, and they based it in the Mexican American culture, which is probably as close as you can get to a lot of the similar themes in the Japanese culture and the families, etc. The the concern about family honor, etc. Yeah, Wag the Dog is on our list too. And so, oh, thank you, darling. Got my energy drink.
Finally, I used my own card. Here's the receipt.
Thank you.
Because I also had to buy milk at the exact same time.
Oh, fun. Okay, thanks, babe.
You're welcome.
So yeah, tortilla soup is a great is a great example of family politics. And I'm sure there are probably dozens of others out there. Bulworth is also on my list. So basically, think about any Thanksgiving you've ever attended. And yeah, if that's not a political comedy, I don't know what is. Network. I didn't think about Network. Yeah, I should put that one on there. Oh, yeah. I saw this movie ages ago. Good suggestion. All right. I believe An American President is on my list. There are some that are really strange. So, let me, all right, why are you doing this to me, IMDb? Live. There you go.
Help me.
Okay, let's see, what have I gotten here that's weird? Oh, well. This one I think is, if I haven't publicized my opinions on this one, I don't know when it will. So my favorite comedy genre for this competition was musical comedy, because I've always been a huge fan of musical theater my entire life, whether it's comedy or tragedy or both, because a lot of them are both. Yeah, Dr. Strangelove and Election are both on my list. So three of the films that I included that are not your typical government or election are the new Mean Girls musical, Heathers the musical, and the Rocky Horror Picture Show. So Heather's a Mean Girl are school politics. Rocky Horror Picture Show is alien politics. Rent would also be one. That's the politics in Rent is a little more subtle behind the scenes, kind of like if you were there, you know how political the AIDS epidemic was in the 90s and in the 80s. So yeah, Rent would be kind of a political musical comedy. I'm not sure what politics genre I would consider it, but it's definitely worth an okay, where did my thing go? There we are. Scandal. Yeah, politics scandal. People were very scandalized by anybody who had HIV or lived near someone who had HIV. During the 90s, I lived in Houston in the Montrose area. At the time, it was cheap, and it was one of the few places where a pretty young girl in her 20s could walk around after dark without the fear of being attacked. Most of the guys in that neighborhood were my big brothers to some extent. One couple wound up becoming my fairy godparents. I say that because one of them actually wore a fairy godmother outfit once, and so it just kind of extrapolated from there. But I worked as a temp a lot, and there were more than once when my bosses found out I lived in Montrose. That's all it took for them to fire me, because I lived in a community that was heavily impacted by the AIDS epidemic. That's how bad it was in the 90s. So yeah, everything about AIDS in the 90s was political. Should have been. Victoria, you raise your hand.
Yes. So I know Les Mis isn't a comedy, but it is a musical political thing. And a lot of science fiction has political, social kinds of themes. Star Trek, of course, is the classic, that whole black and white episode, and many others. So science fiction is a great place. And I just did a Google search, and Eileen, I'm going to send you a link of Google search of comedy, political, musicals, those keywords, and I got like a web page of a whole list of stuff. So I'll send it to you.
Nice. Yes.
Anyway, so there's that. I didn't recognize most of them, but that doesn't mean anything. So yeah, you can draw on science fiction. That's also a great sort of
Absolutely. One of the films that I put as an honorable mention was Spaceballs. Because it's obviously a parody of Star Wars. Excuse me, and it's a comedy. There's so many Mel Brooks movies are on this list. Oh my God. Yeah, king of political comedy. I wasn't sure exactly. Yeah, Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, Twilight Zone. Yeah. Oh, Dogma. I didn't think about Dogma. That's a really good addition. So let's see. I loved Dogma. To that end, to some degree, the Bill and Ted movies are political comedy. There's family politics, school politics, and oh yeah, I mean they're gonna, someday be these amazing world leaders, universe leaders, whatever, big deals, and yeah, that's so there's some politics to that as well. And that's the thing that's kind of surprised me is I keep hearing people say that they don't want to touch politics. And I'm like, well, politics is everywhere. Okay, Zoom, what have you done to me? Why are you doing this? Cool. It's got something up in front of okay, fine. I will do what you want me to do. Maybe you will make this go away. Will you? You think? No, you're not going to. How about we just go back to? Why? I don't know what I hit, but it's, oh, this makes me mad. What the heck did I do?
So Eileen, if you go to the top of your screen, you're looking at the whiteboard, right?
Oh, okay.
Go to the
I
top of
see
your
that.
screen, there's a thing that says meeting. There you go.
Gotcha.
There you go.
Gotcha. That's weird. You know, the Zoom is throwing up all these new things, and some of them are really great, and some of them are not that great.
Yeah. So
Um,
so one of the things that you commented on earlier was when you see this on the menu
Yes.
buttons at the bottom, there's a little heart that says react, and that's where the raise hand is. But there's
Oh.
2 rows of icons. The first one is send with effect, which is what all of those little, moving things are. And there's 3 dots, so there's like more effects. And then the second row is just straight single reactions, where it's just like a boring plain, just single one compared to like, a whole bunch of stuff going on. So that's under the react button, and that's a new thing. So that's lots of fun.
I learn something new every day. Okay, so Island has joined. Island, you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah. Hey everyone, my name's Island. I'm an actor and I've participated in, I think this Saturday will be my 5th one. And I've done 4 this year.
That's impressive.
Yeah.
Very cool. And which team are you with?
Scam Likely.
Okay, cool. Are y'all looking for any more actors or crew?
No, we just found a sound mixer about what, 5 hours ago.
Excellent.
So yeah, we're good.
Very good. All right. Okay. Anybody else have any questions or want to throw anything out there, or
Yes,
go ahead?
I just wrote to Joe.
Oh, you're breaking up on us a bit.
Can you hear me? No? Dang
I
it.
can hear you. Yeah, now I can hear you.
I just wrote to Joe Rogan for you.
Thank you.
So we'll see. I met Joe years ago because I was doing a stand-up comedy circuit. So fingers crossed. I just sent it. Hope he-
Cool.
You're a goddess, Norma Jean.
Worst he can say is no.
What's that? Oh, worst
yeah,
thing you say is no. Yeah. Hi, by the way.
Yeah. I tried to get Comedy Mothership as a sponsor months ago when I was still, just kind of doing a ramp up, and never got a response. Of course, God only knows who I was, the various people in between that I was trying to go through, and they may not have thought we were worth the time. But I will give them props. They were happy to put up flyers in Comedy Mothership. My daughter and I went around putting up posters and flyers, and there were a couple of comedy places that absolutely would not support us, which really surprised me. But Comedy Mothership was supportive. So,
well, good. Well, fingers crossed.
Yeah.
And if we can't get him, you know who else lives here? That might be a small favor. I don't know. It's
hit me.
Jesse Plemons. Stretch.
Who's that again? Okay, I don't know why I can't hear you.
I don't know either. Jesse Plemons.
Jesse Simmons?
Clemens.
Clemens.
PL.
That name sounds familiar.
He's an actor, but he's very much does drama and comedy.
Oh, he was in Friday
Kinds of
Night
kindness. Kinds of Kindness.
He was
Yeah,
in Flower Moon with me.
Jesse Plim. Okay, okay. Yeah, he was in Friday Night Lights.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that would be so cool to have him as a judge.
Civil
Well,
War.
Do you know how to contact him? I think you froze.
What's that?
Do you know how to contact him?
Yeah.
Okay.
He's got a number. I don't have his, but I know how I can get in touch with him.
Okay.
So I will attempt that too.
Excellent. You know, some of my fellow city producers reach out every so often, and they're like, "Do you know Robert Rodriguez?" And I'm like, "Man, I wish I knew Robert Rodriguez. I know where his studio is. I could practically walk there from where I live, and yet the website doesn't have a phone number, it doesn't have an email address. I know people who've worked there, but
Yep.
other than that, I really don't know how to get in touch with that man."
You have to go through his brother. He's a real estate agent in San Antonio.
Oh, see, I met his sister, Patricia Vaughn. Patricia Vaughn? I think, yeah. I met her through someone in San Antonio. But you know, she follows me on Facebook and everything. We really haven't had much chance to communicate. She's been very busy with her tour, so
So I actually grew up in Del Rio. Carlos
Yeah.
Gallardo and I were in high school together when they filmed El Mariachi, which was his first film. And I was
Right.
a by then. That he was 1 year behind me, but so I've met him. I met him before and I met him after his success, but I've never been able to work with him, or at least not yet. Only because I
Yeah.
was in the I wasn't in film until very recently.
yeah. I've made some attempts to get in contact with Richard Linklater. I've met him a number of times, but I don't know that he knows me from Adam. But I don't want to go total fangirl on him, because that's what I did the first time I met him, and I'm still kind of embarrassed about that. Granted, I was not expecting to meet him. It was in line at a film for South by, and Karen and I are both standing there, and I just happen to have some of my business cards on me, and she's like, "A double dog dare you to go give him a business card," and I'm like, I don't respond to dares often, and I don't respond to double dog dares from everyone, but there are a few people in my life who know exactly when to double dog dare me to do something I really want to do. I just don't have the guts for it. And so when they say that, I'm like, I have no more excuses. So that's how I wound up producing Dallas. So anyway, I go up to him, and he's standing in a group of men, and they're talking, and I'm just like at the edge, and I'm just like waiting to be noticed. And and finally, as they're about to walk away, I'm like, "Mr. Linklater, I produced a 48-hour film project. We'd love to have you as a judge." I literally said it just like that. And he took the card, but he's kind of like, "Yeah, okay, whatever." But one of his guys that was talking to him, he made a point to stop and say, "We love what you do, and keep it up." And so I was like, but and then the next time I met him was on the Big Daddy G show, when Where'd You Go, Bernadette came out, and he had promised G that he would be on the show. And at the time, G was the top show on public access, which is managed by the Austin Film Society, which is he's one of the founders of. And so he had reached out, or he and Tyrone had reached out to the publicist to set up this meeting, and the publicist said, "Yeah, he only does the big shows." And we're like, "We're his big show." So we kind of hijacked him after or outside of Where'd You Go, Bernadette, when it was showing at the AFS Cinema, and we had everything set up outside, the cameras, the desk, everything. and Tyrone was in the film or in the audience, and so he just kind of stood around and waited till Linkletter was about to leave, and he's like, dude, they're waiting, please, just 2 minutes. Yeah, all right, I'll give you 2 minutes. He gave us 14. So that was cool. JJ, you have your hand raised.
Yeah, I'm sorry. It's 8 o'clock and I have to jump off of this call to join a different meeting.
I
But I
understand.
really, really thank you for sending me the invite. Thank you, everyone, for allowing me to speak. I dropped my information in the chat. If anybody needs an actor or anything like that, give me a call. Be happy to reach out or reach out to Eileen. She knows how to get a hold of me. Enjoy your night, guys, and best of luck to all the teams.
Excellent. See you later, JJ.
Thanks, JJ.
Thanks.
Okay. So anyone else got any interesting stories about working in independent film, whether it's here in Austin or someplace else? All right. Anyone got any questions?
I do.
All right.
Tell me, please, and I guess this is good for anyone else that's joining 48 for the first time. What does the screening night look like? And the judges are the ones that pick, and what are is it just the very top one that goes on to be screened at Filmapalooza, or is there different categories that are awarded on that night? As far as just the Austin screening goes, what does that look like?
Yeah. Okay. So all of the films that are submitted are screened. We do
Right.
give out about 20, give or take about 20 awards for things like writing, directing, editing, cinematography, acting. We don't do a best actor and actress anymore because we're trying to be more inclusive. So we do best comedic and dramatic performance.
Ah.
I may have to rethink on this one. We may have to do best comedic and best political performance.
How do you do a political performance, though?
Yeah. So
I don't know.
And then we do a best ensemble acting, and there are a few others. Of course, we do awards for each of the assignments, the best use of character, prop, line, genre. We do things for like costuming, stunts and choreography, set design, sound design, that sort of thing. And if enough people have submitted original music, then we'll do like an original song. We do an award for best musical score. It doesn't have to be original. Sometimes it's just, okay, you really put a good score over this. You found the right music, you applied it correctly, etc. But song, it's always original.
How many teams are now registered and a go for this weekend?
6. We have been, I mean, this has been the
Is
smallest,
it
slowest.
small? Okay. I thought maybe.
Yeah, it really surprised me because
Wonder
I've been
why.
talking about
Is it
doing this for years and people
a
seem
lot of
very
work?
excited.
Yeah.
And then I've been talking about it all year once we found out we could do it. And people seem very excited. But now nobody wants to do it. So we're going to go through with it. Last year we canceled because we only had 8 teams, but we were also at AFS Cinema, and that's expensive. This year we're at St. Edward's University. It's much cheaper. I thought it was free originally, but it's not. But it is much cheaper. And the school is being very supportive of us. I actually went and spoke at a couple of classes, and they've been promoting us all over the campus. The digital storytelling department has been.
Oh, wonderful, wonderful.
Yeah. So I am not canceling this year. I don't really expect to make a profit, but I'm not going to cancel the genre project this year. However, I think moving forward, we're not going to do a genre project in Austin anymore. It's just, I can't afford it. It's not, I'm
Well,
not making money off of this. I've never
Right.
really been making money off of it. But there comes a point where you have to go, I can't afford this loss.
No, I get it. When you say genre project, is there another? I mean, that's it, right? Or-
The political comedy is our genre project. So we had one in June that
Understood.
was mixed bag of genres.
Got
And-
it. Oh, so
And
there's
we're
another.
gonna do our best to keep that one going.
Got it.
My biggest concern is, so I've been doing Dallas now for 3 years. And this
Wow.
last year, I actually managed to get my theater for free at a local college. And because of that, Dallas made money. Dallas made some good money. Now, a lot of that, you have to take in how much you've invested in it, and then we've got licensing fees that we have to pay for. But overall, Dallas made enough money to pay for Austin.
Wow.
Because when it came down to Austin, I really just barely broke even. And that was with the investment from Dallas.
Well, is Edwards at least giving you a discount off their published rates?
Oh yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
good. Yay.
So, yeah, being an actual election year is also a fact. Well, see, and I thought being an actual election year, this would be a great relief.
Sensitive.
Pardon?
I was saying that so many people are sensitive these days. It's so crazy.
Breaking up.
Yeah, but she said so many people are sensitive, but yeah, it's and that really surprises me from Texas. and from
Right.
Austin of all places.
Right.
For a political comedy. We live in the blue city in the midst of the great red state.
Right.
Doesn't matter which way you vote, it's always a joke.
Exactly.
I
agree.
I really thought that this would be a lot more popular than it is.
Yeah.
And we've had, I'm getting so many responses from comedians on Instagram. There is a lot of interest in it, but there's just not enough people willing to lead the teams. And that's kind of sad. Island, you want to say something?
Yeah, I was gonna say part of the reason why people aren't wanting to do this is, I guess, because it's political and they don't want to get in trouble or get horrible criticism for the film that they create. So that's why they want to pass on this.
Well, and see, that's the thing that confuses me, because Austin, the Texans have never been afraid to speak up. Austin has always been very vocal in our political views. And politics is literally, it's everywhere. It is everywhere. It's in everything. Being a woman is a daily exercise in politics. That whole bear in the woods question is political. It permeates every part of our lives. And I was really shocked over the last 2 years that Film de Femme wasn't more popular in Austin, Texas, of all places. Because we've got a lot of activists in Austin, and a lot of them are creatives. But I kept hearing from women filmmakers saying, I really want to do this, but I'm not ready this year. So that's why we did it again last year, and we had even fewer show up. So I'm really kind of gobsmacked that Austin, Texas, which loves to post politics on Facebook and Instagram, but they're not willing to make a statement in a short film. Yes, Damon.
I grew up, from the 70s on, and 50 and 40 years ago, even into the 90s, political satire, political roasts were a common thing.
Yeah.
But sometime in the 90s, the whole sensitivity thing and the battlegrounds really butted heads. And a lot of those roasts that were hosted locally, statewide, or nationally are all gone.
Yeah. But we
So-
still have SNL, and we still have The Daily Show. The Daily Show was always political comedy.
Yeah.
And they're still very popular. So there's role models that you can use and go, okay, I want to do something like Jon Stewart, Trevor Noah, like John Belushi. I mean, Animal House is on the list.
Mhm.
Um,
The great George Carlin.
yes. Yes. Oh my gosh. And you
He
go
was
to
a
comedies, you go to stand-up comedy shows now, and more often than not, I'm sitting there cringing because they're the jokes just aren't funny anymore. You know, you look back at some of the comedians of the 70s and 80s, and they weren't worried about offending people, but
Nope.
they were a lot funnier. Uh, they're just their timing and the way they would get you laughing about something without it necessarily being wholly offensive. George Carlin could, you know, the most offensive thing about George Carlin really was the language, which he leaned
Yes.
into.
He
Yeah.
was an absolute gentleman and a former client of mine.
Yeah.
I met him in a bathroom. All things, you know. But he studied his craft. He knew what his not necessarily agenda, but he knew what he believed in and what he fought for. You know.
Yeah.
Nowadays we have a lot of actors and actresses and performers that they're getting into it just to be famous. They
Yeah.
don't really have a sort of mindset that they're trying, a vision. They just want to be famous. That's why,
Yeah, I think that's one of the reasons Taylor Swift is so popular is because she's very genuine.
Mhm.
And there's a lot of new celebrities that really aren't.
Yeah.
So
Well, I remember the Paris Hilton craze of 20 years ago. You know,
yeah.
he really
Yeah.
didn't have, yeah.
Yeah, not that I pay a great deal of attention to Paris Hilton, but every so often a story about her will pop up somewhere, and she's really grown up, you know, and it makes you realize that a lot of the what people think of when they think of Paris Hilton was a half-grown child,
Mhm.
you know, and reacting to a world that she'd been mostly sheltered from.
Basically, poor little rich girl.
Yeah.
I socialized with her in Los Angeles. I was at Miss Kitty's parlor the night she got out of jail, and she was dressed in a traditional kind of hamburger jail outfit, uh, black and white stripes, and the back, the printing on the back of her underwear said jailbait.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Now, would she do that today? I don't think so. I think she's grown a little bit more in the
No,
last
but
20
that does
years.
show a certain type of sense of humor.
Yeah.
And it reminds me of the Queen of Austin, Leslie Cochran, walking around 6th Street in Congress wearing a thong bikini, high heels, full beard, and with APD Kiss This written on his butt cheeks and lipstick.
Mm.
And
Wow.
that man nearly became our mayor. He was much loved. Mm.
Wow. Damon, you just brought back memories. Miss Kitty. Oh my gosh.
Oh, yeah. But
Wow.
Jennifer just had a birthday not too long ago. So, and the Brule Brothers Dracula 6th season starts next month.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you should check it out. They just did a parade of their contestants online.
Oh my gosh. Well, do you remember such a small world? You're probably going to, your jaw's going to drop when I say this, because if you remember this, you remember a show that used to be at Miss Kitty's called The Art of Bleeding.
Yes.
Guess who was one of the nurses?
Oh, really? Oh, okay. Okay.
And
Wow.
Al Ridden was our producer of that show. He was married to Margaret Cho,
Yeah.
but they got
Oh,
divorced. But I
oh
still
yeah,
talk about Al.
Margaret loved kitties. I mean,
Yep.
I'm
We had
assuming
that
Max, yeah, was a regular performer. Dita, yeah,
Yep.
Courtney Cruz, my friend Olivia Bella, yeah.
all the nurses and the doctors and all those blow up dolls, and then we had the guy in the gorilla costume driving the ambulance.
Mm-hmm.
Aileen, you have to. I never know if I'm saying your name right. Aileen.
It's Aline. It
Oh,
rhymes with Celine.
So bad. Aileen.
And it's weird. Nobody in America can pronounce it easily. Everyone in Europe gets it.
Okay. Well, I got it now, Aileen. Okay.
Norma, did you catch the night that they filmed 2 episodes of Gene Simmons' Family Jewels?
No, I didn't.
Yeah, I got to watch Gene get his derriere handed to him by 4 women in a KY jelly wrestling matches.
Oh my God. You know, I ran into Simmons
Yeah.
literally in Cannes last year at
Oh, wow.
breakfast. But Aileen, you should look up The Art of Bleeding, this thing we're talking about. It's all defunct now, but it was a crazy traveling show. And we taught people about, you know, the comedic kind of dark side of safety. It was hilarious.
And it was called Miss Kitties?
No, well, it's the club. It's to hold shows there, but the production name itself, the show's name is The Art of Bleeding.
The Art of Bleeding. I will look that
If
up.
anyone look it up. It's dead now. I have to
All
dig
right.
out some pictures of me as one of those nurses. That's back when I was the size a little less than I am now. In a skimpy nurse outfit with blood on.
I was
Anything for the
actually-
art.
I was actually heavier and had long hair, believe it or not. Yeah. I used to get mistaken for Meatloaf all the time throughout Hollywood.
Oh,
how cool.
Yeah.
I love Meatloaf. Mario, you said you are starting stand-up comedy in San Antonio soon. Tell us more about that. Oh, you're muted. There you go.
There's a place called Artesian, and there's 2 shows, 7:30 and 9:30. And it's hosted by Big Al Gonzalez,
Cool.
comedian from California.
What's what kind of jokes do you usually tell?
Well, I actually I do voice impression.
You do impressions?
Yeah,
Cool.
'cause
Can
like
you share one with us? Or would that be cheating?
okay. Now, folks, when I was a young boy, America was a small town. So I fell down and broke my elbow. And the doctor was a mayor too. That's my Joe Biden impression.
Very good. How long have you been in stand-up comedy?
I left it for a while and started doing it again.
Yeah.
It's not easy, but
Right.
A friend of mine once told me she was studying both improv and stand-up, and she said improv was the art of saying something off the cuff and making it look well rehearsed. Whereas stand-up was the art of saying something well rehearsed and making it look off the cuff.
Exactly.
I've been curious about getting into stand-up myself. Of course, you know, I don't know when I would find the time to try. One of my friends dared me to try to put something together, and he'd get me a spot on an open mic at the Velveeta Room. And I've been needing to sit down and write down some of my jokes, because as a ride share driver, I get to test out a lot of jokes. So, you know, one of my personal favorites is we'll start talking about the traffic, the roads, because that's a very easy topic to get into. And I'll say, I think the Austin City planners are smoking something they're not sharing with the general public. And that always gets a laugh. Oh,
That's
we've got
good.
someone new. All right.
Someone new?
Yeah, we got someone new in the Zoom. Demi, you want to introduce yourself?
Hi. Oh, I thought this was gonna be a playback. I was like, didn't realize it was still going. Hi, I'm Demi. I'm a comedian and actor, and I was trying to get a team together for this, but the guy stopped responding, so I was like, let's see who else has stuff going on for this.
Yeah, we've got a lot of people who are interested in participating, but we haven't had very many team leads step up. So I highly recommend if you can find someone if you can find someone who's willing to take the lead. The registration fee is $178, but that can be easily split among a team. And yeah, I mean, the team lead does not necessarily have to be the director, does not have to be the one making the decisions. The team lead is the person who assigns the one making the decisions, because in the end, they're the ones who have the authority. If it comes down to who owns this property, and which has happened a few times, someone will contact me and say, my DP won't give me my footage. And I'm like, look, your DP signed a document that said you have rights to the footage, and you signed a document that said that you and the 48 have rights to the footage. So unless he wants to go up against our lawyers, he needs to understand that he signed a document. That's what those documents are for. So yeah, it's always in the when it comes down to it, the team lead is the one that's where the buck stops. But they do not have to be the director. They don't have to be the writer. They can just be the one who goes, you know what, I'm going to get all my friends together and we're going to do this. And if anybody has needs a decision made, I'll step in. But otherwise, you're the director, you're the writer, you're the cinematography. Go make something cool. It's totally fine. So Demi, how long have you been in Austin?
I've been here for a year.
Okay. Well, welcome. Where'd you come from?
The DC area.
Okay. That's where the 48 got started.
Oh, really?
Yeah, in fact, they were the first ones to do the political comedy project. And apparently it was not very well received at the time for political reasons, but I assured them that Texas was different, and I still think Texas is different. I still think Texas can handle this. We need to find more people who are willing to prove it. Would any of y'all be interested in leading a team? Just to be the one to say, all right, I got you guys. Let's get together and have some fun.
Well,
it's fun.
Yeah. Well, now, Island, I know you're on a team. Norma Jean's on a team. Frank, of course, is running a team. So
two things is one, I just talked with my team lead. He's actually looking for, I guess, someone that can do a gaffer and electric.
Yeah.
If anyone's interested, and also me and a friend of mine, we're forming our own group for the worldwide one. So if anyone we're looking for crew members specifically at the moment. Actors we'll get to later, but right now crew members. So if anyone's interested, I can put my info in the chat. You can contact me regarding that.
Awesome. Yeah, please do.
Right.
What he's referring to is what we call the 4 Points Project. And it's worldwide, online, etc. So
Yeah, if you go to the Facebook page, they have the link up from the Sunday Zoom meeting where they were going over the new additional genre choice. So
Gotcha.
I put in my IG handle if anyone's interested.
Excellent.
What is the 4 points? Is that something totally different?
It's under the 48 umbrella, but it's online, and I think you get 72 hours, and it's usually in early November. It's like the very last project of the year.
Yeah, it's November 15th through the 18th. So yeah, about 70 something hours instead of 48,
Yeah.
which is
Oh.
which is actually good.
Where do you
Um,
where
It's anywhere. I think it's worldwide.
yeah,
yeah,
it's
it's
worldwide.
worldwide.
They've
Would
made
it-
a goal of trying to have 200 teams this year.
Woo.
what's the website or whatever?
You can go to the 48-hour film project and
Yeah.
look under events, and it's
yeah.
in there.
I can get the link for you.
Oh,
Um,
events.
oh wow, it's not the last
Right.
one of the year. Usually it's the last one of the year, but they've got a few overseas that are happening after that. They're getting more and more cities again. Of course, the pandemic made it difficult. We lost a few cities in the pandemic, but some of those cities are coming back, and then we're getting more cities. I know I've mentioned this in previous events, but I'll mention it again. Texas currently has 5 cities. So we've got Austin, Dallas, Houston, El Paso, San Antonio, and McAllen has applied. Or
Oh.
McAllen area. I don't know if they're calling it McAllen or not, or if they're calling it, I think someone said they were calling it Hidalgo or something like that, or Rio Grande Valley. I don't remember. But anyway, yeah, we're getting another one on the border. So that's going to be 6 teams, in which case Texas, the state with the most 48s. And we still have a long way to go to beat France. They've got the most 48s in their region, but goals. So, Island, did you have another question?
Oh no, I just forgot to
Okay.
lower my hand. Yeah, there you
Gotcha. Yeah, I'm since it's very much looking like this will be the last genre project we have for a while. So our metrics are, if we can get 15 teams this year, we will keep doing the genre project. That's not likely to happen. I'm not saying it's impossible, but it's not likely. So if we don't get 15 teams, we're going to put those genre project to bed for a while. If Austin gets 48 teams again, now that's not what we have to get. I think 32 is the least. But for our participation, for Kara's and my mental, physical, financial energy to be put into this, we want to have 48 teams at least for our regular project. And then we'll look into relaunching the genre project. But Austin is going through a lot of changes right now, more so than other cities. A lot of, we've got these new incentives here in Texas, which are great, and other cities are really embracing it. But Austin is having a bit of a fight between the grassroots creators and the rich tech bros. And so there's a bit of a struggle going on here right now, and I've seen it in other organizations as well. Just finding space, finding a support. Since producing in Dallas, I have companies that reach out to HQ wondering how to get in touch with me, because somehow they don't know that they can do that through the website, because they want to support us. So it's not even anything I am doing to get their attention. It's just word of mouth. And I'm getting stuff handed to me in Dallas, whereas that doesn't happen in Austin. Nowhere near as much anyway. So, and it's just, it's a different community, it's a different environment, and we're going through some transformations, and I'm really hoping that by the time this transformation is done, Austin hasn't completely lost their creative industry, but I know it's struggling. I know the music is struggling, the film is struggling, all of it. And it's been struggling for a while, even before the pandemic. We lost so many of our black box theaters. We've lost both of our, no, three. We had 3 costume shops once. We have none now.
That's terrible.
Yeah, the art studios are struggling. And it's, the cost, the rent's going up, the taxes going up, the fact that these developers are coming in and just offering gargantuan amounts of money for spaces. So, there's been a lot of studios that have lost their space to exhibit. Blue Genie comes to mind. Now they did move, they found another one. But there's been a struggle. We're kind of dog paddling here. So all that said, I don't think it does, and especially with the last 3 years, it seems like the genre project needs to be put to bed for a while. Which is not to say that we are never going to do it again. It just, we need to see some things move back. We need the pendulum to swing back in the direction of being supportive of local creatives before we can invest in that again. And all that to say, I keep hearing from people, Island, I believe, was one of them that told me, there's a lot of people from Austin, creatives especially, moving to the Waco Temple Killeen area because it's cheaper. And that makes me think that maybe it's time for me to reach out to Waco and see if that area is prime for a 48, because it's an hour and a half from Austin, an hour and a half from Dallas. San Antonio is 73 miles away. That's just a little over an hour. If San Antonio and Austin can both survive together, I don't see why Waco couldn't be added to the list. So that's something I'm going to be putting out some feelers for in the next few months, just to find out, hey, is it there? Is there somebody who wants to run it, or is that something I'm going to have to do between Austin and Dallas? I don't know, but I really think the 48 is good for Texas. It's a great way to get people to get their voices heard, to get used to getting their voices heard. I've learned in the last 10 years just how privileged I was to grow up in a family that was kind of upper middle class, or at least half of them were upper middle class. The other half were working class and just Scots. And so they never asked if they had permission to say something. They were just going to say it because that's what the Scots do. But my mother's side of the family was a little more upper middle class. So we were definitely privileged. It's like, of course we have the right to speak up. Of course we have the right to accept something that is offered to us. Of course we have the right to ask for something if we want it. And it's okay if someone says no, but we still have the right to ask. And I've noticed that that's a privilege. That's not something that most people are comfortable with. So I'm trying to use my privilege to encourage other people to use their voice, because I know I can use my voice, and I want other people to learn that they can too. That's a rambling way of trying to say what I was trying to say. And also, and I know I've said this before, when I first fell in love with filmmaking, I was 12 years old, living in Corpus Christi, came out of Return of the Jedi for the 9th time in the theater, just madly in love with this new art form and knowing nothing about it. And the more I tried to learn about it, the more foreign it seemed, or the more out of reach it seemed. And if I asked somebody for advice about it, more often than not, I got negativity. I got, you don't want to do that. You'll never make any money out of it. Why would you want to do something crazy like that, etc. It just kept hitting one brick wall after another. So I like providing something that a 12-year-old who has just fallen in love with the filmmaking art form can turn to and learn. And nobody's going to tell them you don't belong here. Nobody's going to tell them you don't want to do this. I have another group that that I'm an admin for, Texas Filmmakers and Casting Calls, and kind of fell into adminning that group. And it is growing by leaps and bounds. If you're on Facebook and you haven't joined, I highly recommend joining it, because it went from pretty much dead and spam logged, because our administrator just disappeared. And so, I fell into it, and have been working on, keeping the spam out of it. And we are getting hundreds of requests to join every day. I have 2 other moderators that are helping me, because it was becoming almost a full-time job just to read over the requests and approve or deny them. So, all that to say, so yeah, that's a great resource. If you haven't joined it yet, look for it. But also, we had somebody recently who, a young woman posted a picture, said she wanted to get into acting. She'd never done anything like this before, etc. And had one person who was like, why would you want to do this? Why, was very demeaning. And I'm like, why would you say that? Why would you say that to somebody who is trying to learn, who wants to get into this? That's cruel. And it's completely untrue, because almost every famous actor out there has a story where someone told them, you ain't it, but they didn't listen. So, Damon, yes.
Yeah, I was told many times in my youth I had a face for radio. Yeah, so I've never really done the performing route, but background with behind the scenes and things like that. Everyone's journey is different, but in the last 10 years, it's completely changed. The COVID has brought streaming to the dominance faster than it would have done without the pandemic. And the media industry that I loved growing up watching, the one I studied in college 20 years ago and the one that I was working professionally in 10 years are gone. They're all gone. The big lie of Hollywood is that people put on the persona that they know what they're doing, but for 100 years they've been making it up as they've gone along, and it's all a bunch of gatekeeping.
Yes. Oh, I hate gatekeeping. I'm one of those that's going to knock down gates everywhere I can. So if you're the type to put up gates, be warned, don't invite me to your party.
Hollywood is nothing but high school over again on a bigger budget. And if you told me the clique that you were in the most in high school, I could probably guess with 90 to 95% what part of the city you'd wind up living in. Yeah. If you moved out there.
Homeschooled.
Oh, okay. Okay, homeschool. Yeah, you might end up Studio City. Somewhere around
Sounds so bad.
Yeah.
Not that I know anything about Studio City.
Yeah.
I've been to LA 3 times. I did take one of those tours of the stars homes my first time, because this is what you do when you go there the first time.
Oh, with the $60 buses.
Yeah, I don't remember how much they were. They were. I had a coupon or something. It was marginally affordable.
Yeah.
I remember seeing like Katy Perry's home and Arnold Schwarzenegger's home, and they would tell us how much that home cost, and I'm looking at it going,
yeah.
I grew up in Corpus, where there are mansions along Shoreline Drive or just off Shoreline Drive. Some of them look like castles. I'm not kidding you. And they're huge yards with gorgeous gardens. And I came home and I looked up the property value. This was in 2015. Looked up the property value for some of those homes. It was $500,000.
Mm-hmm.
Compared to the dinky crap with no yard that Katy Perry lived in for 17 million.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you know what? If I were rich and famous, I might have a condo in LA, but I would have a mansion in Corpus. Even though I couldn't wait to get out of Corpus as a kid, if I wanted to have a mansion somewhere, I'd have a mansion in Corpus, and I'd have like a condo in maybe LA and New York. But
a half-acre plot in Brentwood back in like 2007 or so was $4.2 million.
Yeah, they showed us one house that was literally falling off a hill.
Yeah.
And it looked like, it was one story, small little thing. And the tour guide, who was obviously, trying to break into the stand-up routine, he said, this is what we call in California a piece of shit. This piece of shit goes for $2 million.
Mm-hmm. There
So
was somebody running out the tree house on a property in LA. I forget the ridiculous amount of money a month.
God.
Yeah, but it's so desperate. People were doing tree houses, and you can park your camper trailer on my parking lot, type of thing.
Yeah, I could see that happening.
Yeah.
Yeah, when I was very young, I was constantly, talking about face for radio. I was constantly told, strangers would come up to me and go, "Oh my God, I thought you were Brooke Shields for a minute." And then in my 20s, I had people comparing me to Angelina Jolie. At 13, I had Marilyn Monroe's figure. This is not me being vain. This is just me stating fact. I was freaking gorgeous. Looking at the time, I didn't think I thought I was fat, but now I look back now, I'm like, good God, if I could look like that again. But yeah, I was gorgeous. And one film that I auditioned for, an independent film, I was told I had to lose 20 pounds. I was a size 14, 16. And at 5'9", 14, 16 looks pretty darn good. And this woman who was the director was close to 400 pounds herself, and she told me to lose 20 pounds.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you could change things. You have the right to you have the ability. You're sitting right there. You could change things.
There's a lot of body dysmorphia and body shaming out in LA.
And then you look at BBC productions.
Mm-hmm.
They don't care what those people look like. They use the same actors over and over again because they're good. Doesn't matter how old they get. Doesn't matter how fat they get. Doesn't matter how bald they get. Some of these shows, the British police dramas. My mother watches Midsummer Murders religiously, and there are like 3 different people who die every episode. Makes you wonder how the small town stays populated. But in almost every episode, there is some elderly couple that was cheating on their marriage, and that's why somebody died.
Mm-hmm.
And you wouldn't see that come out of Hollywood, or if it did, it would be a joke. It would be a comedy.
Well, when the original shareholders and founders of the movie studios, the Big Seven or the Big 12, if you go back 100 years ago, started selling off the studios after television became big in the 50s and 60s, they sold them all to oil companies. Well, the oil companies didn't know how to run them. So in the 80s and 90s, they started selling them off to the marketing firms. Making a film is difficult, all right, but it's not as expensive as you might think. The expense and the way that movies are going broke is that they're paying for 2 to 3 times, sometimes 4 times the price in marketing to market it to all the niche networks and online, this, that, and the other. And when they went to marketing and the in branding within films is when all the body shaming is like, they want that you can't be thin enough, young enough, or rich enough for someone to throw a product, label, with you on it.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the weird thing is, this is one of my soapboxes in almost every aspect of life, is that the people making the decisions are so out of touch with the people they're trying to affect. They don't listen to the experts, and they don't listen to their customers, and they don't have a clue that more than half of what they're trying to do, the features, the marketing, you name it, is completely worthless. It doesn't have an effect on the people because they don't know what affects the people, and they don't want to find out.
When I studied broadcasting, I learned we were taught the concept of dead air.
Yeah.
And now people are struggling with like a carrot in front of a donkey or a horse with all this online stuff, not understanding that all the stuff that's successful, they're paying to play, they have bot fleets, and it's just AI chatbots talking to AI chatbots
Yeah.
over and over and over about millions of times over. You
Yeah.
know?
So the human element isn't even involved anymore.
Nope, it's gone. You know, so unless you stay an independent fine artist, guerrilla filmmaker, which a lot of the 48-hour team leaders and producers are, you're not going to get any originality.
Yeah.
You know, because the studios, all they care about are their 12 to 13 tent pole pictures a year to keep them afloat. Now they could change that. They could go back before Jaws,
Yeah.
okay, and have like 50 projects that are lower budget, but they're still obsessed with that making less pictures, marketing them more, and doing the whole getting over $1 billion in the first run, the first 6 weeks.
Well, and that's one of the reasons if I see that a film is being put out by either Focus Features or A24, it immediately piques my interest because they're more likely to focus on a story that is unique, that has a different twist, that's a little more human. Now I don't know much about those companies beyond that. I just know that that's the Pavlovian response that I get to seeing their.
Oh yeah.
their
Well,
labels.
the mini majors, New Line and stuff like that, they were bought out after the 08, recession. So there's not, they're just branding, throughout the different studio systems. I go further from the ones you mentioned. I love Troma. All right. I'll watch, anything that Troma comes out with, I compete by extending my stuff to their annual, drive-in movie festival and stuff like that. So,
Okay.
yeah,
I'll look them up.
yeah. They're the Toxic Avenger guys. Yeah.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, if a studio was smart, they would partner with the 48 and excuse me, pay the filmmakers if they decide to take a story and run with it. I think that would be an amazing partnership is, they see a film that they're like, you know what, I would love to see this is longer than 7 minutes. I want to see this as a web series or as a TV series or as a movie or a mini series or something. And then they pay the filmmakers a stipend or what have you for, okay, we're gonna take your idea and expand on it. There's so many films that I would love to see something more come out of.
I would love to get a theater here in town and basically half my programming be nothing but 48-hour films, inviting the directors and like from different things from around the world and just show 48-hour short films,
Yeah.
over and over.
What town are you in again?
Huh? Little Rock.
Little Rock. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. We've lost a lot of our art theaters in Texas since the pandemic. I know San Antonio's had a devil of a time trying to find a theater that will show their films. And it's been a struggle here in Austin as well. So it would be so amazing if if the city owned a theater that they could provide to grassroots creatives to exhibit films there for for either a very cheap rental or a cut of the ticket sales, but we don't really have anything. We've got a few theaters that are more supportive than others, but a lot of those are expensive too. So
the future is non-linear storytelling. The younger Gen X, millennials, and Gen Z were used to video games. That's why you can never satisfy us with like a popular character, because we've played Batman, our own way, having like one linear story. We want to combine. So virtual and augmented reality is the future, and virtual and augmented reality theaters are the future. You have a pop-up, you run a field, you have your glasses, you have your concessions, and you have your people at home that can stay home and watch it, and you have the people that come out and like the camaraderie,
Yeah.
and you put on your set of glasses and you're in the theater and you see, your picture. So
That would be
that's
cool.
that's the way it's going. So, but we're still contesting with like the how the royalties are working out from last year's strike.
Yeah.
It's just the penny pinching, cost cutting year, and there's going to be more layoffs by this fall before the studio heads start going back to production next year. So
Yeah, I don't think that traditional filmmaking will go away simply because
Oh, no.
traditional theater has never gone
Yeah.
away. Opera has never gone away. It
No.
there will still be a niche for it, but
Mhm.
I see what you mean though. Yeah, we've kind of done away with innovation in this country. With the corporatocracy, and there's so many inventions. I used to work for a property intellectual property attorney, and I've also worked, when I lived in Houston, I worked for the research initiatives at University of Houston. So I've seen a lot of new inventions that are working on a patent, and they're amazing. I mean, just like, oh, I can't wait to see this become, available to the public. And that was 20 years ago. I haven't seen any of that.
Well, it's shocking to a lot of people. Well, when I tell them that every single studio has a unit that goes out there to buy scripts, not to produce them,
Yeah. Yeah.
because they're competition to product that the studio is putting out. Also,
And the
there's a
tech
lot
business-
of film festivals that are doing the same way. If you win it, you're supposed to be having some sort of development deal with them, but then it's in development hell for years and it never comes out.
Oh,
I'm not going to name names,
Yeah.
but one of the things I love about the 48 is you own your film.
Yeah.
And
You
you
share
don't want
some rights with the 48, but it's
Yeah.
not, we have the right to exhibit it. And that's, from what I understand, is basically it.
Yeah.
So we encourage people to take their films, play with them, reshoot them, add stuff, re-edit, whatever, and then go put them in film festivals and see if other people like them.
That's what I'm working on with my past 11 films. I'm making extended cuts, and then
Yeah.
I'm going on the road next year.
Awesome.
With them all. So
Very cool. Keep us posted on that.
we'll do. Yeah.
All right. So yeah, that's exactly my point. The tech industry does the same thing. So research and development doesn't really mean anything anymore. Other countries are surpassing us technologically, especially in the medical field,
Oh, yeah.
because they don't have that as much. And that's one of the, since this is we'll talk about politics for a moment. That's one of the reasons why I'm so supportive of the idea of taxing the rich so much, because whether it's a rich company or a rich person, if they are forced to invest or donate their extra money over a certain amount, then there will be more research and development. They will be forced to put more money into that. As it is, they buy up this stuff and then put it on a shelf because they don't want to expend the money to develop it when what they've got already is doing just fine.
Before Reagan came into office in 1980, people that were billionaires, trillionaires, or whatever, they were taxed 70 some odd %.
Yeah, back in Ike's day, which is when
Yeah.
the MAGA group seems to like to say, let's make America great
When we
again.
built
It's
the
like,
most of the infrastructure of the country.
Mhm.
Yeah, it was back
And it was
during
paid
Eisenhower.
for
Yeah.
with a nearly 90% tax, give or take, on the rich over, I think it was 100,000 at the time, which was a lot of money in the 50s. So nowadays, I think they were talking about it being 400,000, and it was just like 70%. which
Mhm.
is still, oh my gosh, can you imagine taxing Elon Musk 70%?
Oh, yeah. You look at the game Monopoly,
Uh-huh.
American favorite, but you can tell it came from the 30s because the rich went to jail
Mhm.
and they paid luxury taxes.
Yep. Yeah.
It's just
Apparently
bygone
that was
era, yeah.
created to teach a lesson, what do they call it? I can't think of the word right now, the term, but basically to teach a lesson that this is not how this is not how our society should be. We need to, having too much money is a bad thing. These are the problems that you can have. Yes, Victoria.
Okay. There I am. Okay. So yeah, there's actually two versions of that game. That game was in fact created by a woman who never got credit, and basically the game was stolen from her for, the ways that things are usually stolen from women back when they didn't have any power. But there are two versions. There was a cooperative version where people played to help each other succeed. But when it was either Parker Brothers or the company that bought it before Parker Brothers bought it, they basically, ignored the cooperative version of the game, and it turned into, the thing that it has become. So yeah, it was intended to teach people, about power inequality, wealth inequality, and the cooperative version, which is like, there is a whole, I got laid off, and so I have so many ideas for political things. So yeah, the whole cooperative venture thing is, yeah, it's political. So
yeah.
Anyway,
what I like about some of the variants that they've done to Monopoly, they've brought back some of those collaborative versions. My favorite side one is the Mario Kart version. And yes, you have like the property and taxing way of doing it, but it's also a race, and you could play it by just racing around the board and still win. So kind of cool.
I like that. That that there are times I see people who somehow they found a way to make just enough money to support a life of travel. And that's just all they do is they travel. And I'm like, wow.
Yeah.
That seems great.
Yeah.
And there are times I think that I'm living my life as okay, what can I do next? What can I do next? What can I do next? I'm terrible at saving money. I used to be really good at it until all of a sudden it was like, oh, there's never going to be enough money to make ends meet. And then I just was like, okay, I'm going to survive this day, and I'm going to survive the next day, and I'm going to survive the day after that. And I'm going to try to do it with as much, as much adventure as I possibly can, whether I'm helping somebody, whether I'm learning something, whether I'm accomplishing something, whether I'm, I'm not trying to leave money to my descendants, because I just don't have any, but I would sure like to leave a better world. And that's, you have to keep moving and keep doing and keep learning and growing. It has nothing to do with money.
Yeah. The only reason why I had the life I did growing up was because my father joined a union. Well, we're all from dirt poor Arkansas, and the only reason why I had health insurance and the care and the education I had was because my father was a union member. And it really pisses me off when, modern problems of the day, the politicalness, is when somehow joining a union or talking about a union is non-patriotic, and it's ingrained that you should listen to the rich billionaire that runs the company more than the workers that, make the products and make the money for them. So it's kind of like a power flip.
Yeah.
There's a reason why this country is called We the People, because we the people own it and run it.
Yeah.
So, but a lot of people have not taken civics classes, because civics classes were cut in the last 20, 25 years from public education. So.
Yep. Oh man, I several years ago, I was finishing up my associate's degree at ACC, and I took a government class. And one of the assignments was, you could watch several movies or read several books and do some kind of a report on it. And one of the movies that was recommended was Michael Moore's Where to Invade Next.
Mm-hmm.
I'd never seen a Michael Moore documentary before. I'm not really a big fan of documentaries because I love fantasy. But I watched this just because I was curious about him, and I went into it thinking, okay, this guy is, kind of an opinionated jerk, and he starts out the movie that way. And the whole idea is, well, we invade other countries for oil. Let's see what else we can invade other countries for. And he starts going to different countries, and it's like, okay, your country has a great work-life balance. We're going to find out how you do the work-life balance. We're going to steal this idea. Your country has a great education. We're going to go and observe your education. We're going to steal that idea. Your country has a great penal system. We're going to go investigate that. We're going to steal this idea. And as the story went on, he became less of an asshole, and just more and more of it was like really touching.
Mm-hmm.
And then the last scene was him and a friend on an anniversary of the fall of the Berlin Wall, and talking about how they were there when it happened.
Mm-hmm.
And I was 19 when that happened. I remember this noise coming from the TV because the news was on, and I ran into the living room to see what the heck was on the news, and I get chills thinking about it. There are people standing on top of the Berlin Wall and not being shot.
Oh yeah.
And that was so mind-blowing. And I literally screamed for my parents, there are people on top of the Berlin Wall. And
Mm-hmm.
they came running in, and we're all standing there slack-jawed going, it's really happening.
Well,
This is really happening.
I grew up in the 70s and 80s, and before the wall came down, I mean, we had glasnost, but we literally were ingrained that we were going to be going to World War III with the Russians, by the time I was an adult.
Yeah.
And,
And
all the
people-
education coming from a military family, it's all tactics against the Russians, tactics against the
Yeah.
Russians. Thank you. And
I
then,
don't remember how
Yeah.
old I was, but I was very, very young the first time I saw a news report about someone trying to go over the wall, getting shot but not dying, and no one could go and retrieve them. And they lay there and died for days because no one could get near them without also being shot.
Mhm.
There was like this no man's zone for a few feet on either side of the wall. So there were people literally lying up there, slowly dying,
Mhm.
and no one could get to them.
Yeah.
And that was what I grew up with. And then to
Yeah.
see people on top of the Berlin Wall, and they're not being shot, and they're shouting and dancing and singing, and I'm like, it's still to this day just, whew,
Well-
it's one of those moments like 9/11. You
Yeah.
never forget it.
Well, you look at like the 70s began with Helter Skelter, all
Mhm.
right, and all that Manson stuff, and it ended with Jonestown. And I got into a conversation with some younger people recently about Jonestown, and they couldn't believe it. It's like, yeah, cultist activity can lead to stuff like that if you're not careful.
Yeah.
Because they're of a younger generation that had never not had the internet.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So,
and it's just without proper checking and verifying sources, we still have a lot of cults out there, not only in like Hollywood, but Texas and Arkansas. So
yeah. Yeah, my son asked me recently why 9/11 was such a big thing.
Yeah.
And turns out he was asking me this because we had a long drive home from Dallas, and he knew I was getting tired. So if he kept me talking, I'd stay awake. But I was explaining that this was just something, none of us had ever thought of. No one had ever conceived of this. Well, okay, there were a few Hollywood movies, but still, that was fiction, that somebody would actually do that and
Mhm.
attack all of these innocent civilians, because they were extremists. And just how profound that experience was and all the changes that came out of it. You know, he doesn't know what it was like to live in the 90s when you know, without all the what was it, the Patriot Act and all that stuff. He has no clue what that was like. He has no clue what it was like to you know, be able to say pretty much anything you wanted in a at school, and at most you might get, you know, detention.
Yeah.
A friend of his nearly had his life ruined up in Hutto because his mom was late to pick him up. It was like the first week of school, so it's August, it's hot. And he's stuck. She told him to wait at a certain area. So he's sitting there and he's not happy about it. And the secretary of the school comes out and is like, you can't wait here. He's like, well, my mom told me I had to wait here. Well, you can't wait here. You know, and it was just back and forth. He's stuck between a rock and a hard place. Two authority figures saying opposite things. He's going to get in trouble no matter what. And he's just finally, he was so frustrated. He goes, what are you afraid I'm going to blow up the school? Now, anybody with any sense would go, look, kid, don't talk smart to me. You know, they wouldn't immediately call the cops, which is what she did.
Yeah.
And the judge, the school, the judge, everybody threw the book at him. This was a kid in ROTC. His ROTC leaders went and testified on his behalf. His church, his friends' parents, everything he was involved with went in and said, this is a good kid. He just has a smart mouth. That's not against the law. Leave him alone. And they still put him on like 6 months probation. He was kicked out of ROTC by the school, not by the ROTC. Just, oh my God, that's the sort of thing that creates people who shoot up schools, not prevents it.
Well, you mentioned Waco earlier, a good documentary to watch on Netflix, which I believe Netflix built itself more on documentaries, than content from other people before they started making their own stuff. But if you watch the Timothy McVeigh documentary on Netflix, you know, he got angry over what happened in Waco, and he was targeting targets in Little Rock initially because he wanted to get back to the Clintons. And when he found out through his mission, so to speak, as far as like surveying, that nobody was in downtown on the weekends, you know, at that time, he decided to go to Oklahoma and do what he did, you know. But had he stayed with his original target, my friends and I, we were up downtown Little Rock skateboarding all night long, and we went by the Federal Building because next to it, it had a Subway that opened early. So we were getting sandwiches, and the guy behind the counter is like, "What are you doing here?" There was two long hairs and then an Asian man. And there's like, did you not hear? I'm like, what? He turns to the TV and we see Oklahoma City. And then we walk over to the bank building and we see all the federal agents that have been watching us the entire time.
Oh, wow.
You know, all that. But thank you for hosting this, Eileen.
Absolutely.
You know?
My
I
pleasure.
wish
enjoyed
if I could walk and get down there, I would do a team leader because I got friends out there in Texas. But like I said, if anybody needs any remote voice work, drawings and things like that, or you know, some editing help, let me know. So
will do.
Yeah.
Thanks. I would love to talk with you further on stuff because sounds like we could probably talk all night long.
Yeah. Well, this is the political, you know, comedy. So we talked about comedy the first half and politics the second. So
there you go.
Yeah. So I'm gonna check out. You know,
right.
we're on Facebook. You got my contact info.
Yes.
Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye. All right. Frank, you're welcome to hang out and chat. I think I'm going to take this off of live stream because it's after 9 o'clock. But if anybody's watching out there, thank you for joining us. And hit me up if you have any questions or would like to to know more about, anything, any of these people that we've talked with, my email address is austin@48hourfilm.com. 4 and 8 are, of course, numbers. Hour and film are all spelled out. No spaces, no dots, anything like that. Austin@48hourfilm.com. So